Welcome back to 40/20 News on the Record. Professor Andrew Dowdle joining us once again with the University of Arkansas with his expertise on Election Day coming up. We're pretty close, and all eyes are on Arkansas's big governor's race and all the state elections and races, but we also have some federal ones to talk about, Professor.
So looking at Arkansas, you end up obviously having all four congressional seats that are up. You have one of the two Senate seats that's being occupied currently by John Boozman that is up. Unlike the state side, where you end up having a lot of old faces running for new offices, you end up having all four incumbents in the House and Senator Boozman running for re-election for their current offices. And most of the polls show that they're all individually up by significant margins at this point. So we expect this to be a little bit less competitive than, for example, the Oklahoma governor's race or some of the national contests that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and I know some of the national ones like Pennsylvania and Georgia, those are really the races that a lot of experts are watching nationwide to see if there's any chance a Republican's going to take over the Senate again. But what about some of the ballot initiatives? There are currently 4 statewide, and we have some local initiatives as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the real story for most Arkansas voters, that even if the polling kind of shows that most of the elected offices are going to be relatively uncompetitive, you look at the ballot initiatives, both local and statewide, and those are going to be very important. A lot of counties are having ballot initiatives for things such as jail expansion, so I would suggest that voters look and see what's on their ballot locally. And there are also at least 4 ballot initiatives, 2 of which seem to be really interesting, I think, to most observers. Issue 2, which deals with trying to amend the initiative process, which ends up kind of bringing up the ballot initiatives in some cases that we're talking about. So again, looking at that, Arkansas has traditionally had one of the most easy processes to get initiatives on the ballot of almost all the southern states. We're almost more like a western state, and that's kind of from the state's populist traditions of the 20th century. Issue 2 would make it more difficult for that to occur. So looking at that, you end up having things, for example, like the minimum wage. You end up having medical marijuana, all of which came out of the initiative processes, which probably would have even got a hearing at the state legislative process. So you can kind of look at that and say that would be something that would have an important impact on Arkansas politics. And there's also issue 4, which deals with, again, trying to expand marijuana into non-medicinal uses in terms of having a regulated system there. And again, there's only been a little bit of polling on that. Most of that polling shows that voters, by a small margin, seem to be in favor of that. But again, at this point, both of those issues are really kind of up in the air in terms of will voters support them or will they end up opposing them.
So issue 2 is interesting because there are already complaints that it's too tough in Arkansas to get an initiative on the ballot. Is that what some of the people who have been trying to get initiatives on the ballot saying?
Well, one of the things that's happened is that the process itself is not supposed to be very difficult compared to other states. There has been some tightening of administration by the Attorney General's office, which ends up kind of determining whether issue proposals have been compliant with state law. So in a number of cases like issue 4, the Attorney General's office said, no, the ballot title wasn't descriptive enough. It went to the state Supreme Court, and the state Supreme Court ordered it to be on the ballot. So, you know, there are some issues that's been more difficult in the last few years, but that's mostly been because the Attorney General office, which has been controlled by Republicans, has not really looked favorably on some of these ballot initiatives for things, again, such as medical marijuana and recreational marijuana. So looking at that, you know, you can say that they've been looking kind of at a microscope in terms of making sure all of the dots are there and all the T's are crossed.
All right, Professor Dowdle, we are out of time. Thank you again for your expertise. We'll be talking to you on election night for sure.